Hello everybody, my name is Alan.
That's not funny!
I'd also like to thank you for finally filming in a location that has no animals and like insects that are eating me, but you did pick a really nice construction site that's now they're like time to install this massive ass pipe into the ground.
Okay, well anyway, welcome back to the channel everybody. It's an Alan and Prozzie video and you'll be glad to hear there is not a bubble milk tea in sight. We are on the Taiwan beer.
Yeah.
No Coronas either. You got some stick for drinking Corona last time?
Did I?
Yeah.
That was a fine beer.
Anyway, what are we here to talk about? Well, as you probably already have noticed in the title, we have come up with the hot topic straight off the press of 3, 4 or 5 strange traffic rules or things about the traffic here in Taiwan.
Oh yeah, top page of the BBC News.
Yeah, it's hot. There's nothing else in the news in Asia at the moment, right?
No, we actually sat in front of a picture of boobies to make this video more interesting.
You disgust me. How can you live with yourself?
Okay, so the first thing that I notice is a major difference between English traffic.
I don't know if anyone else has this thing.
Well,
I
yeah.
think Taiwan might be the only one.
I think Australia, there's a couple of people commented, and it's called a hook turn, which, as Prozzie explained in his last video when he had the accident, is if you want to turn left using a motorcycle or a scooter,
You run into an old lady first.
just before you run into the old lady, you should be getting into a special left turn box so that you're never crossing oncoming traffic. And I guess it makes sense with so many scooters on the road.
I understand why it's there. It does take forever to make a left turn on a scooter. It's really annoying, but I understand why it's there, just to keep everyone safe.
So that's definitely one thing that's different, but some countries, maybe you have it also. If you do, let us know in the comment section down below. Okay, and on to the second thing, which I think is a little different regarding traffic compared to traffic back in England. And this is again related to scooters and these special boxes they have. Now, in Prozzie's video, he got criticized for not being over to the right on his scooter because he was in front of the cars. But actually, because there are so many scooters here in Taiwan, there's a designated big box.
And there are no lanes within that box. You
Yeah.
can stay wherever you'd like to stay in that box.
Exactly, there's no sort of, unless you're going right, you probably stay to the right. If you're going straight ahead, it's pretty much like
Where would you stay if you're going into the box?
into the box on the other corner.
Yeah.
You would probably stay to the right. Oh no, but then the people going right are going to go across
So
you.
You don't really know where to go in the box. It's complicated.
It's like the start of a Formula 1 Grand Prix, basically. Like everyone just lines up, the light turns green, and you go.
It's basically just a designated little box where scooters can drive into, where it's super safe for scooters, and cars aren't allowed to go there or in there, even though they still do it.
But
all
yeah,
the time.
cars always do. Oh, and one other thing related to this is that the Taiwanese police, they often have crackdowns on certain infringements. Like, my friends at work, my coworkers will tell me, oh, these 6 months, be careful, don't go across the white line at the red light.
Yeah.
Or don't park your car in the scooter's box, because they've been told that the police are giving out tickets especially for that, for that reason. So yeah, that's the reason that Prozzie was not directly over to the right. He was in the special box.
It's a good excuse, because really I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So.
Okay, the third thing that we're going to talk about regarding traffic, and this is something that Taiwanese people are very proud of. It's their little green man.
Oh yeah.
Invented in Taiwan. Not the green man, but the walking green man as you cross the...
Yeah, it sounds like leprosy, I don't know why.
But the interesting thing about it, and how it's related to us, is when it's counting down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, he gets a little bit faster. Did you notice?
Really?
He starts running.
That's a load of bullshit.
I'm serious. There's gonna be some B-roll right now.
It's to encourage people to start running across the street.
Something like that. That means hurry the f up.
Never noticed that.
Yep. But what that means is, I've also referred to this in a previous video, that if you are at the red light and you're looking over to the crosswalk on the other side, you get a countdown.
Yeah.
To
it becomes a drag strip, basically.
To the green light going, which means that basically everyone goes early, or not everyone, but
you could definitely see people sort of anticipating the light change, and then they kind of inch into the intersection, which is really scary.
Yeah, and that's where I think a lot of accidents or oogly googlies.
Oogly googlies, as they're known here on our channel and in all of Great Britain.
Yeah, a lot of oogly googlies can happen where people are going a little bit faster before the green light comes, and then the other guy's trying to whiz through the red light. That's where you tend to find the scooters hitting each other.
Yeah, it is. I do like them though, because sometimes if you're not really sure how long you have to the green, you see a green light kind of going at a distance. You're like, is it going to change? Is it going to change? And when you don't have the countdown, you're kind of you don't know whether to stop or not because you're anticipating that yellow light. But with a countdown, you can see because it counts down the red light. Yeah,
it does. So if you're on green and you're on a scooter and you can see the red light over on the other side, that encourages you to kind of gas it a little bit.
Right, yeah, because you know when the light's going to change a little more accurately.
I'm sure all of these rules are there for common sense, people with common sense.
Right, unfortunately common sense isn't something that people usually use when they're driving around here.
Yeah. So. So I think we said 3, 4, or 5. The other huge thing about the traffic here in Taiwan is more of a pedestrian's point of view, where very seldom do you have a sidewalk or a pavement, as we would call it.
So the right-of-way in the West, which usually goes to the customer, the pedestrian, they have the right-of-way pretty much all the time, but here in Taiwan they absolutely do not.
Yeah, they have like the way that the buildings are made, they have what's called a chilo, which is like an overhang. But most of the time the shops that are in those buildings will extend out, their business will come out into the
so you can't actually walk there.
You can't walk there, so you're forced out into the street, which then brings us to a point that Prozzie mentioned earlier, which is that in Taiwan, its size matters. Like if you're a pedestrian, then you're inferior to a scooter. If you're a scooter, you're inferior to a car. And it goes up in scale all the way up to the trucks that just own the roads.
It's the opposite, because in the West, you're trying to respect people that are smaller, because you know if you hit them, you'll hurt them.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's the other way around. However, when something goes wrong, the person in the bigger vehicle is typically held accountable, at least in some respect. Like if you hit someone on a scooter and you're driving a car, you're probably gonna have to pay some money, even if they just drove their scooter into you and you have nothing to do with it.
No, it's the opposite. The scooters, if you hit a car with your scooter, you have to pay the car. I'm certain. Like the bigger people have more right of way. I'm pretty sure that's my experience.
I'm just looking at this giant metal stick swinging around in front of us. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, that's a genuine sort of disagreement there. That's not set up. But if you do have an opinion...
It's not a disagreement. I don't know what I'm talking about. He's probably right.
What do you think? Do you think that bigger vehicles have more right of way over smaller vehicles, or vice versa? Feel free to join in this discussion down below. Okay, and the final thing I'm going to quickly mention is the scooter test, and I think this is the reason that a lot of people get into trouble or put themselves in dangerous situations when riding scooters and motorbikes here, is because of the way they test, give you your license. It's all done in a controlled, like, parking lot style place.
And that's what they build, a little track you have to follow that simulates a real road.
And basically the most difficult thing you have to do is drive slowly.
Yeah, you have to drive on a straight line, probably about that narrow, for 7 seconds or longer. And I can't really explain how long it is, but it sounds like a pretty easy thing to do, but surprisingly, a lot of people f that up.
Yeah, it's basically just showing like control of your vehicle, control of your scooter.
Yes.
And there's not like an S-bend, you have to go through an S-bend.
Something like that, yeah. And then you have to do the hook turn, and you can't put your feet down the whole time, so you gotta be able to work the gas and the throttle. And
so I know that that's a big difference, and that affects the way people drive here.
Right, because it doesn't at all reflect if you can drive a scooter. Like it's so, you know.
Be aware of your surroundings is very important when you're on the road, but that's not tested.
It's like, can you basically operate a scooter?
Yeah.
And it was surprising because there were a lot of people that really couldn't. So I'm actually happy that they have that license system, because it did eliminate quite a lot of people that are sort of inept at riding.
But then
it is weird.
The other thing I would mention, when I first came here, they used to do the same with the car driving, but now they've actually changed that. In the car license, we actually go out onto the road and have
They have to scare the shit out of you
first
before they give you your license.
Yeah, they show you this is the real life of driving. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As I mentioned, just a chance for me and Prozzie to sit together on a Saturday afternoon, watch some construction and talk about something
We
maybe
need better
important.
hobbies. Yeah.
If you have anything to add on the topic, if you disagree with us or agree with us, then by all means, that's what the comment section is there for.
Do you have weird ass shit in your country? Put that there too. I'd love to read about it.
Yep. Sincere. But anyway,
I think that'd be kind of interesting to look at. But yeah.
there is beer to be drunk and fun to be had.
Nice,
So we're gonna say goodbye. And as always, I'll see you next time in My Life in Taiwan. Oh, go watch his video. We just made a video. It's up there.
Yeah, it's about things that you should know when you go to Taiwan
Yeah.
or something. I haven't titled it yet. I don't know.
So yeah, definitely go check out Prozzie's video. And as always, I'll see you next time in My Life in Taiwan. Peace.